Coming up, the heat is on. Are local electric companies ready?
Fargo police cracking down on kids bicycling, causing chaos on city streets.
Plus, the next generation of COVID treatments might not come as a shot. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
A 20-year-old man is in jail tonight accused of stabbing his girlfriend.
Police tell Valley News Live that Christian Underwood stabbed the woman in the arm, then took off. It happened in an apartment along 4200 block of 9th Avenue Circle around 6:30 tonight. Underwood was spotted in a vehicle and was arrested for aggravated domestic assault. The female sustained injuries that were said to be non-life-threatening.
A 43-year-old man is dead in what may be a work-related accident in Audubon. This afternoon, Becker County Sheriff's investigators found the man on the ground next to equipment in the parking lot of Team Industries. Emergency responders found the Northern Metal Recycling semi-truck with the hydraulic bed extension resting against an overhead power line. Joseph Boyle of Foley was pronounced dead at the scene. The incident remains under investigation.
There's word tonight of our first water restriction. The city of Barnesville is not allowing lawns to be watered between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. If you don't follow the rules, it's a $25 fine the first time, then a $50 fine per day for additional violations. There's more to these restrictions listed on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com.
As the heat wave continues, people will be running their air conditioners and fans more.
And this in turn will lead to more electricity use. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor is live with advice from a local electric company. Nishay?
Mike and Andrea, whether you get your power from Xcel Energy, Cass County Electric, or Moorhead Public Service, no one wants outages during extreme weather conditions. Officials with Cass County Electric say with hotter weather, there is typically an increase for electrical demand. They say even with the spike in demand, they do not foresee any interruptions. Officials say they have enough capacity to provide reliable service during a surge in electrical use, but they do have tips for you to keep in mind to help conserve energy during warm weather.
They can keep their blinds closed during the day, keep the sun out of the home, set their air conditioner back, set the thermostat back to conserve energy. Basically turning things off, appliances, cooking outdoors always helps in the summer too, rather than firing up your oven. You don't get the grill out, do that kind of thing.
Russo also says Cass County Electric has never had an instance where there was too much demand not to be able to serve their customers during an increase of usage, which is very reassuring as we continue to try and keep cool. Mike?
Certainly is. Thanks so much, Nishay. Cass County Electric also says their coal, wind, hydro resources have allowed them the opportunity to have enough electrical capacity.
The current temp is around 75 degrees in Fargo. That is nowhere near the highs expected over the next several days.
We certainly want you to be prepared when that extreme heat hits, so let's head over to Hutch now for the very latest on what's to come. Hutch?
Thanks, you two. Good evening, everyone. It was another warm day today, but the temperatures are going to keep building, and Friday and Saturday will be the peak of our heat wave, with temperatures nearing that 100-degree mark for many areas. It's going to be hot out there, dangerously so, and if this seems like it's out of scale, I want to point out one thing. The fact is that over the last 30 years, if we go back in time, heat, the number one cause of loss of life compared to any other weather-related phenomena. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. And here are a couple of things to start right off the bat with. That is your car. Take an extra second to check that back seat. Make sure there are no kids in there, no pets in there, even for a few minutes. On a 90-degree day, it only takes 10 minutes for it to get dangerously hot in a car. And within a half hour, it's over 120 degrees. So make sure that you're keeping that car clear. We'll keep an eye on the forecast. I'll have much more on how to stay safe during our wave of hot weather here in just a few moments.
Good advice. Thanks, Hutch.
There's concern tonight about the return of a dangerous trend involving bicyclists. Fargo police say they have received numerous calls about kids on their bikes disrupting traffic.
Valley News Team's Aaron Walling spoke with a man who has seen this problem firsthand in his neighborhood.
Fargo PD announced today their focus on a dangerous trend involving bicycles and juveniles.
Frequently, we'll see groups of 5 to 10 kids taking up the entire street, popping wheelies, things like that, and blocking traffic from moving past.
It's disrupting traffic and causing problems for drivers on busy roads. Nathan Larson says the problem is even worse downtown with kids darting in and out of traffic on their bikes. He says this issue comes up weekly on 8th Street.
I would say probably once or twice a week on this street.
FPD arrested 2 juveniles on Sunday who were causing trouble on 2nd Avenue North and fled from the officer on scene.
We have a lot of juveniles riding in neighborhoods, riding in downtown Fargo, videoing what they do and driving towards not only emergency vehicles but vehicles on the street, doing wheelies and basically, for lack of a better term, playing chicken with those vehicles, almost causing accidents in some instances and creating a dangerous environment for everybody who's driving.
If caught, a juvenile could be charged with failure to obey traffic, careless driving, reckless driving, disorderly conduct, harassment, criminal mischief, and other offenses up to the officer's discretion.
But we also have laws that we have to uphold. We have ordinances that people in our community expect us to enforce, and we have to just explain that. We have to explain that there are consequences to actions, and that there are things that are legal and illegal.
In Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Fargo police are also asking if you see dangerous acts happening on bicycles in town to report it to dispatch, and if you can see safely, get photos and videos of the incident.
Fargo Public School parents are saying enough is enough tonight, putting together a petition to recall 4 school board members. Parents say their frustration boils down to lack of communication over the last school year, saying their concerns voiced to the school board have varied from distance learning, mask mandates, and school boundary lines.
It makes absolutely no sense. We voted them into this position, and they just have absolutely no regard for our concerns.
We need somebody different that is going to actually be a voice and a representation of the constituents and the overall community.
The committee that put the recall together says they expect to get the petitions back from the Secretary of State early next week and will start their grassroots efforts to get 4,500 signatures for each board member within 30 days. We have details on where you can sign, as well as a statement from the school board president. You can find those on our VNL News app. Just click on this story.
With Derek Chauvin's sentencing just weeks away, both the prosecution and the defense have given their recommended punishment. Prosecutors are asking that the former Minneapolis police officer spend 30 years in prison. That sentence would be twice what Minnesota guidelines suggest. Chauvin was convicted of second-degree unintentional murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder in the death of George Floyd. Chauvin's defense team is asking that he receive probation and time served, or at the very least a sentence lesser than what the law guides. Chauvin will find out June 25th.
Data from healthcare providers, including Altru, was accessed without authorization. A former third-party vendor for Altru, CaptureRx, says the breach occurred on February 6th. The impacted individuals included those receiving drugs prescribed through Altru's 340B pharmacy program, through CVS and Thrifty White. The affected files contained names, birthdays, and prescription information. If your information was impacted, you will receive a notice in the mail. There's also an assistance line for questions from affected individuals. Grand Forks police are reminding you to be on the lookout for counterfeit drugs. They say they continue to see pills and other substances that are fentanyl-based and made to look like an oxycodone pill. Fentanyl can cause serious injury or death. Police also remind the public of a Good Samaritan law passed to encourage bystanders to call 911 in the event of an overdose. It provides protection from prosecution for ingestion or possession of a substance or paraphernalia for a maximum of 3 people, including the person overdosing.
Ground was broken this morning, marking the beginning of work on a new high school for Moorhead. A bond referendum that passed in 2019 will fund the $110 million project, which includes rebuilding Moorhead High School on the existing site and creating a career academy at the former Sam's Club building. The current high school was built back in the 60s. The new facility has a capacity of 2,100 students and focuses on natural light, small learning communities, collaborative spaces, and technology. The project includes a gym that seats 3,000 people, a 1,000-seat theater, and a pool with room for 300 spectators. The academic portion of the building is scheduled to open in the 2023-2024 school year. The entire building will open the following year. The Career Academy is set to open this fall.
As of today, the Minnesota Department of Health says more than 2.6 million Minnesotans are fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
And doctors say that one way to increase and continue increasing vaccinations is to move away from injecting them. Jennifer Hoff tells us the next generation of treatment may be around the corner. Obviously, we're having some technical difficulties. Experts also think the next wave of vaccines could be cheaper and easier to use. But Dr. Rames says it's unlikely you'll ever be able to administer one by yourself at home.
Still ahead tonight, a plan to bring one more fuel option to North Dakota, and this one could someday be used to power vehicles and generate energy.
And take a moment and check this out. We definitely